My name is Jack from Untitled Chapter, and this is the last of a series of tutorials about text animation in After Effects. You must download a project from the Untitled Frogs blog. This project makes possible to use a controller to make the animations that you want and send it to your text layer with the delay that you choose. In today's animation, we will use some expressions to create interesting effects in our text layer. Let's go to the last animation. It may seem simple, but is not as simple as you can imagine because it uses some expressions to make it more fast and easy to do. But you don't need to worry, I will explain every detail in these expressions. If you downloaded the project, you must reset the animator like we did in the previous tutorials. But here I'm using the simple text that apply a controller to your text layer in just one click. The first thing here, we must prepare our animator to receive the animation that we want to do. So I will add 60 in the anchor point and in the position, both on the axis Z. And I will do that because when I will rotate the X rotation, it will orbitate like this through the anchor point. Now I will count 30 frames and I will add a keyframe at the rotation X. You can keep it 0 and you will come back to the first keyframe and then add -900. You can see a long rotation goes on here, but what I want to is a spring effect when it arrives. In fact, using a controller, you can use an expression to do that, but in this case, I will do it manually. So I will add 15 here, and I will advance 5 frames and add -10, and then I will advance 4 frames and add 5 and then 2 frames and add 0. I applied a easy to these keyframes, and now in the graphic editor I want to change these speed curves to make something more natural like this. Let me show you how is the animation right now. That's great, I already like it, but here is the detail that will make the difference in this animation and how we do it. I would like that every time that the ladder is inverted, its opacity would be 0. In other words, I want to see just the front face of the character. And to do this, there is 2 ways. I can do it manually, so I go to the controller and I observe its rotation and change the opacity as soon as it turns. So in this case, from this point it will be 100 and out before this keyframe will be 0. When it arrives at the bottom, it will be 0 again. And out this step will be 0. And when it arrives at the top again, I will change its opacity to 100 again. And at the bottom will be 0 again like this. And finally in the last step, it will be 100 again like this. And now I have the animation that I want. Let's see. Okay, it works, okay? But we have one problem here, and the problem is if for any reason you want to change the timing of its rotation, all the transparency will not be synced anymore and you will have to change it manually. Like you can see here, it already flipped, but it's not transparent anymore. And that's why we will use expressions to do that. The logic is very simple. If our X rotation is bigger than 90 and is smaller than 260, then its opacity will be 0. So let's go to the opacity parameter and click Alt and click on this parameter so we can enable the expression editor. So here I will create a new variable called RT. So var RT equal, and with the peak whip I will get the X rotation like this. And now I will create the following conditional. You don't need to worry about writing it down because you can copy and paste it from the Two Dead Frogs block, but the conditional is if RT is bigger than 90 and smaller than 270, then our value will be 0. Okay, let's see if it is working. So as you can see, nothing is working. Why this expression is not working? Well, I have the answer. It's because we see a value here, but the value that the After Effects is using is not this exactly, because it is 312 plus the amount of steps that we have here in the side. And it means that its value is not inside this intersection that we created here. And to adjust it, we will must to create a new expression. So in the X rotation, we will add a variable to the X rotation like this. So V equal transform.X rotation, okay? A new variable that is N equal 0. It will be the number of steps that we will have. And now this conditional, that is if V is smaller than 360 or if V is bigger than 360, then N equals 2. And this is a mathematical operation that is matfloor. It returns the closest round number to this operation, and we take the value of V and divide per 360. All it does is calculate the number of steps that we have. So here at the end, we say that V equals to V minus 360 multiplied by the number of steps that we have. And now, like a magic, the animation is working as we expected. So as you can see, only the front face of the character can be seen in the animation. I don't consider this expression an easy one. In fact, a friend of mine helped me to get in this result. But this is the great part of expressions. You always can find out in some forums or ask for some friends. You don't have to try to do it all by yourself. There is a lot of content out there that you can use. But the interesting is that now you can change the timing and do wherever you want with the rotation, that the opacity, you respect the rules that you set it in the expression. It was the last tutorial and I hope you enjoy it. In Two Dead Frogs blog, you can find a project with all these animations that we created in these tutorials. And you can also access a written version of these tutorials with the step-by-step of every animation. If you have any doubt, comment below and I will be happy to answer you. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye. É assim que você pula a corda? Ah, tá errado, filho, não é assim.
Eu pulo aqui.
Legal.
Eu pulo aqui, pai.
É.